much tougher this year because last year I think we snuck up on a lot of people. Didn't realize that we're good enough to win anything. And then when we won it, they realized maybe we have something. So right from the start of the year to the end of the season, everybody was pointing for us. So I think this year was more satisfying to me. Our team actually wasn't better than last year. We lost Barry Ashby. We never replaced him. But I think they read our system better, and our discipline was better, and we won first, and we won the playoff. Where last year, I think we fooled a lot of people. In fact, I remember going in that Boston series. It was almost ridiculous. The series is over, and they didn't even wake up yet. They didn't realize that it's even humanly possible for us to win. But this year, everybody figured we had a good team, and they're going to beat us, and they didn't.
So now the regular season was over. It was time once again to get down to the nitty-gritty of defending Lord Stanley's blood, sweat, and tear-stained goblet. If ever a team were ready for Stanley Cup action, Philadelphia appeared to be that team. An unbeaten streak of 14 straight going into the playoffs, home ice advantage throughout the series, and a brief wound-licking respite as the 8 non-division winning teams played a 3-game elimination series. The Toronto Maple Leafs, whose mediocre season barely qualified them for the playoffs, made a madman's dagger thrust for instant stardom by whipping the LA Kings in 3 games. But their shining rapier blade was quickly blunted, then broken by the high-flying Flyers. Game 1, Philadelphia 6, Toronto 3. Game 2, Philadelphia 3, Toronto nothing. Game 3, Philadelphia 2, Toronto nothing. Game 4 was Toronto's last gasp. Led by team leader and Team Canada scoring star Ron Ellis, the Maple Leafs tied it in the 3rd period to send the crucial 4th game into overtime. The 16,485 good folks of Toronto barely had time to get back to their seats following the overtime intermission when Moose made mincemeat of the Maple Leaf Stanley Cup hopes.
That was a big goal, yes, because I was able to send my team in the semifinals, and it's good, I think, because you don't want to play too many games if you can make a team in 4 straight, I think it's good for you. But it's a big goal like that. I think my biggest one was last year in the playoff when we beat Boston the 2nd game when I sent the team in overtime, and Clarkey came up with a big goal, and I think it was a big goal for me then.
4 quick games on the Maple Leafs had been expeditiously dispatched to greener pastures. Now onto the semifinals. Most of the hockey world had its eyes fastened to the Sabres-Canadiens matchup. This was supposed to be the humdigging, nail-biting, mind-blowing 7-game shootout. It didn't turn out that way. The nonpartisan hockey observers viewed the Flyers-Islanders matchup as a curiosity piece, but nothing of consequence. Strange that these lowly Islanders should be in the semifinal round with the world champion Flyers. True, they faced double match point against the Rangers and won. True again, they fought back from a 3-game deficit to defeat Pittsburgh in a series that even chilled the hearts of Penguins in Antarctica. But all the same, it still seemed strange, and strange it was. In Game 1, Wayne Stevenson replaced Bernie Parent, who had been injured in pregame warm-ups. He not only shut out the Islanders, but also assisted on the first Flyer goal.
Out there is Saint Laurent with Howard and Nystrom as the Islanders come up the center ice. Play nicely, speared off by Blade. Now Saint Laurent tries to penetrate. Harris lost the puck for a minute, still in the Philadelphia zone, now behind the net. Howard bumped off nicely on a cover-up by Blayton as the Flyers break out on the right side. Zaleski with Pendrachuk and Kelly fires the blue line and scores! The Flyers take a 1-0 lead on a goal that should never have gone in. Glenn Resch simply blew it. He partially slowed it down as he went down with the stick and the glove simultaneously low to the far corner, but the momentum of the drive eluded him and popped into the far corner, and the Flyers have taken a 1-0 lead. Don Zaleski, who saves his biggest goals, it appears, for the playoffs. Well, that's the Big Bird's first of this year and his 3rd overall in playoff hockey. Big cheer for Zaleski as his name is announced. Stevenson gets an assist. And Ted Harris, the other assist.
Bill Barber and Bobby Clark added 2 second-period goals.
Dornhofer choked off along the boards by Gillies. McLeish penetrates in the right wing corner. Centering pass, loose puck in front. Schultz, the drive, knocked down. Barber scores! Bill Barber scores for Case of Tasty Cake, and the Flyers lead 2-0. 4 seconds and Clark will be back, and his return will be a big help. One of the top penalty killers in the National Hockey League. Clement forechecking, Clark steals, shoots, scores! A short-handed goal for Bobby Clark just as he comes out of the penalty box, and the Flyers go ahead 3-0. Clark for a Case of Tasty Cake. What a move he put on Resch. He undressed him, and then he just tucked the puck in the far corner, and the Flyers go wild.
In the third period, Rick McLeish scored the game's final goal.
All right, the face-off, handled by Chris Pavlich. Clark gets it, rolls to the far wing, into the boards to Dornhofer. Back to Bladen at the point. With a shot, Westfall picks it up. Rebound to Clark in that far circle. Holds. Still holds. Right in front to McLeish. Right in front. Score! Rick McLeish for a Case of Tasty Cake on a great setup from Clark at 1:34. Power play goal, and it's 4-0 Philadelphia.
In Game 2, the upstart Long Islanders forced the champion Flyers into overtime. But in the sudden death fourth period, the Flyers played with Clark-like precision as Bobby Clark scored the game winner.
Van Imp starts out through center right. Gets by a one man. Hits Lonsbury across the line. Lonsbury shot. This puck in front. The Flyers have won it in overtime, and I think it's going to be Bobby Clark. The Flyers have won it in sudden death overtime. The final score is 5-4. And the whole Flyers bench enters, I believe it was Bobby Clark.
After missing the first 2 games of the semifinals, Bernie Parent returned from an injury to his right knee and shut out the Islanders in Game 3. Reggie Leach beat Islander goalie Glenn Resch with a quick backhand shot just 30 seconds into the third period. And Bernie made that one goal stand up the rest of the way.
Leach tries to play around Marshall by jabbing it off the boards. The puck goes away, but Marshall takes out Leach, and back comes Saint Laurent in the far wing. Avoids Van Imp's check. He could have been cut in 2 as the puck rolls free to the right of Parent. Wound around the near side by Leach to Jimmy Watson. Challenged in there by Howard. They get it to Leach, up to Leach from Clark. Clark going to turn the defense. Right on in, and he scores! Reggie Leach with a great backhander from the left wing circle to the long side for a Case of Tasty Cake.
That win made it 21 games in a row for the fabulous Flyers without a loss. Sooner or later, it had to happen. And Game 4 was as good a time as any. Like the ancient mythical phoenix, the great bird which rejuvenated itself from its own ashes, the New York Islanders rose from the rubble of ruin to defeat Philly in overtime 4-3 on a goal by Jude Drouin. That made the series stand 3-1 in favor of Philly. Okay, once is coincidence. But what's 2 in a row?
Now Potvin up the middle, comes to the Flyer line, right through on the left side, the Parisi shot, score! Puck rides wide of rest to the far side, controlled by Dennis Potvin. He passes to Fortier on the left side, and now ahead on the right wing to Harris, across the Flyers line, a big shot, score! Harris, we're down to 2.5 minutes left in second period play, right wing corner, Kimnichuk, but it's broken up, and here comes Parisi with Drouin and Westfall. Drouin across the line, cuts around Bladen, moving in, scores! Drouin moved around Bladen, and now we have a 3-0 game, and the script team is just as last night's was. Now Nystrom steals it from Joe Watson, complete breakaway, score! And the Islanders are just making a shambles of the champions. Complete breakaway for Howard, going in all alone on Parent, shot, and score! And it's 5-1, and Gary Howard has some fun.
Preposterous was the mumbled cry from the box seats at the Spectrum. Poppycock echoed the second balcony. Horseradish roared the upper tier. It seemed impossible that this ragamuffin band of New York Islanders would force the Philadelphia machine to 7 games. And yet it happened. In Game 6, defenseman Jerry Hart hit a third-period goal to even the series at 3 games apiece. Before the 7th game, the Flyers were self-admittedly scared. Not afraid of the Islanders, but afraid of not fulfilling their destiny. The mystical magic of the Islanders was such that it seemed some big black Long Island raven had come rap-tap-tapping on the locker room door and, quoth that raven, nevermore. Even the Flyers' wives were apprehensive.
couldn't believe it. What else? I just couldn't believe it. I really thought we'd win on Sunday, and I really couldn't believe it. And I thought, my goodness, we might. I never thought that we wouldn't get past them. You shouldn't be like that, but I really didn't.
I couldn't believe it. We watched it all together at my house, quite a few of us, and we were all stunned, just absolutely stunned.
Well, I was shocked that they tied it, but I was confident that they would win the series. Very confident.
But as Game 7 began, the Flyers had luck, talent, and Kate Smith on their side to drive away the Long Island Demons.
Once again, good evening, everyone. Don Earl with Gene Hart from an exploding Spectrum here in South Philadelphia. The Flyers have reappeared from their locker room to a thundering round of applause. And the sound of "Let's Go Flyers" and the sound of "Bernie, Bernie, Bernie" are echoing throughout this hallowed building. Hallowed because this is the home of the Stanley Cup. The Flyers hope to make it the home for the next 12 months. And down to our left, there is an organ, and there is a microphone, and there is a green carpet, all of which means that Kate Smith is in the building in person. The record going into tonight's performance: 42 wins by the Flyers, 3 losses, 1 tie. And superstitious or not, you can't refute the response the Flyers have come up with every time either her record of God Bless America has played. Last year, 2 appearances, both shutouts. You cannot refute that. Well, the house lights have been dimmed. And Kate Smith's accompanist has come out, and soon to be joined, I'm sure, by the announcement of the PA announcer, Lou Nolan, of the arrival of Kate Smith. Here it is. And Kate Smith has been announced. For whatever reason, Ed Westfall is standing right by the microphone as Kate Smith is greeting her admirers here at the Spectrum. Talk about one-upmanship. Glenn Risch gave her the sign, the high sign, the balance sign, if you will. Good job, Kate, he says.
The game was decided early in the first period.
Well, you just missed the Flyers score. Gary Dornhofer stealing a puck at center right, going in alone, and banging it home for a case of Casey Take at 19 seconds. Clark digging it out. Back to the point to Billy Barber. Barber with a shot. Right on, he scores! On a tip in front for a case of Casey Take. Well,
Bill Barber really cranked one up from the left point and did change direction on the way in. I don't know who's going to get credit.
McLeish is bumped. Breaks off the check by Lewis. Over the line. He's got a man breaking in on the far side. A shot. Score! I think it was Bobby Clark who tipped it in because that puck was starting up and then deflected down behind Rush, and the Flyers have scored on 2 successive power plays. The play that had gone a glimmering for 18 straight has now come alive again, and it is 3-1 Flyers.
And then in the final period, Rick McLeish put a final black curtain on the Islanders' black magic with this hat-trick goal.
The Islanders keep it in up on the far boards. The Flyers lift it out to center. McLeish with Barber. 2-on-1. McLeish shot. Score! From center ice. The hat trick for Rick McLeish, and the Flyers are going to be in the finals.
And now came the time that all good Stanley Cup defenders look forward to the most. Actually defending the Stanley Cup. In the finals, it came down to this. Either the Flyers win and keep the cup in Philadelphia, or the Sabres take it and shuffle off to Buffalo. Game 1 at the Spectrum in Philadelphia went this way. Remember?
He's bumped off by Point. Out to Van Impe at the point. Lines up, shot. Wide in front. Score! Billy Barber! Billy Barber on the rebound. He was right in the right spot at the right time, standing in the slot about 10 feet out in front of this garden. He was there, he got the rebound in his stick and pushed it right past him, and the crowd here at the Spectrum is going nuts. The goal coming at the 3-minute and 42-second mark of period number 3 at long last. Somebody has pulled the finger out of that dike, and the Flyers are the ones to get the benefit as Billy Barber gets the goal. And for Billy in the playoffs now, that is his 5th goal of the year. Clark looking for a pass, looking. He's got Leach in front, still holding. Back to the point. Clayton with a drive, right on. The rebound, Lansbury scores! Ross Lansbury for a case of safety cake. Very much like the last time. This time it was a different combination of people. Tom Blayden from the right point. The rebound comes out. Ross Lansbury standing right there in the slot again. Pass went from the right wing out to the right point to Blayden. His shot knocked away by Desjardins with a stick and bounced right back out in front, and follow up with the right hand by Lansbury for the goal. And for Ross now in the playoffs, that will be his 3rd goal. By shot fell loose in front. Clark and open net scores! Woo! Didn't take long as Bobby Clark getting the draw and finding himself in the slot open and getting Desjardins, the goaltender, down and out of position, falling down over his right shoulder, and Clarkie having the open net with the right hand. Easily pushed it in, and the Flyers suddenly take a 3-1 lead, and it just took them a couple of ticks on the clock to get it. Clash, Clark, Jimmy Watson, Barber, and Van Impe. Puck rolls to Gavermont. Over skate. Clark has the open net to shoot at. At the line. Got a man with him, Barber. Barber has the open net. Scores! And that's it. With 58 seconds to go, Billy Barber is 2nd of the night from Bobby Clark at 19:02, and the Flyers lead it 4-1.
Game 2 was another beauty, as Bernie Parent proved he could be bent, but would not break. Games 3 and 4 were played in the murky, misty, fog-bound perimeters of Buffalo Auditorium. The Flyers lost them both. Rene Robert scored an overtime goal to win Game 3 5-4.
To Perreault at center ice. Perreault down, caddy court in the near corner. Oh, Martin with a shot. Right wing board wins it for Buffalo, 5-4 at 18:29.
And the Sabres evened the series at 2 games apiece with a 4-2 win in Game 4. Unless you had a pair of infrared glasses or a sniper scope, you probably missed much of the late action. Someone said that even Generals Eisenhower, Patton, Montgomery, and yes, even General Rommel would have called off the Normandy invasion under such dire circumstances.
The heat made, a big difference. And plus, the fog, the fog was, to me, was the biggest thing because you don't anticipate as well as you should be. And
please take your seats.
And I think that has to be the reason why we lost against Buffalo in the 3rd game.
Nonetheless, the Sabres had evened the series and faced the Flyers' best in Game 5 at the Spectrum. The enforcer, Dave Schultz, opened the scoring parade for the Flyers. And then the Flyers took charge midway through the first period when Gary Dornhoefer and Bob Kelly scored 19 seconds apart. Buffalo was all but defeated when Reg Leach scored on a power play with only 1:55 gone in the second period. And then a few minutes later, Dave Schultz put the icing on the cake with his second goal of the game. Bernie Parent lost his bid for a shutout in the third period when Don Luce slipped the puck past him late in the game. But Philadelphia held on for a 5-1 win in Game 5. The Flyers returned to Buffalo for Game 6. In both previous appearances here, the Flyers seemed to be playing in a figurative and literal fog. This time, it was different. In the first period, both teams had their chances, but neither scored.
And here we have a partial breakaway. Ramsey, backhanded hit for post. Robert takes the shot, trying to go inside Jimmy Watson. Falls down. Bladen taken to the backboard. Centering pass in front, and Robert shot wide. We've got 1:19 left on Clements' penalty as Robert starts out. Gives it off to Perreault. He's at full speed as he crosses the Flyers line. Man, can he move. The right side. Right face-off circle. Off the backboards. He's behind the fly net. Centering pass goes right across in front of Perron. Clark wins the face-off, but Jimmy Watson is pinched off. Perreault out to Korab. The shot tipped wide by the right pad of Perron. Clark trying to feed through to Watson, and does. Keeps it in the left wing corner. Centering pass. Great setup to Barber. But he can't get his stick down in time, and it's cleared the length of the ice by Craig Ramsey. Puck goes behind the net. Schultz tries to throw it out front. Now it's Clement in the left wing corner. Centering pass for Schultz. Schultz, DuPont, great save, Crozier. Oh, what a setup. That feeds inside, but DuPont clears it the length of the ice, and that should pretty much do it. 4, 3, 2, 1, and the first period is over with the score. In Game 6, the Flyers nothing, the Sabres nothing.
In the second period, it was more of the same as Bernie Parent continued to disconnect the French connection.
Right wing pass at center to Dornhoefer, looking for Kelly. Dumps it into the right wing corner. Bob is there, shot! And Crozier the save, although he was out of position. Tries to center, knocked behind the net. Martin is there, right out in front. Where is it? And Perreault back to Gaverman. Shot, kick save. And then it's iced by Jimmy Watson. Storming at center, four-man rush, two Flyers back. Into the right side to Perreault. Shot, save by Ron. Rebound Robert is wide of the open corner as Perreault went down. And then Van Impe coolly drives it off the right wing boards down the ice. Out come the Sabres, 2-on-1. Perreault and Martin with just DuPont back. Perreault to Martin, in shot, saved by Perreault, and he hangs on. Oh, baby!
There was goaltending superbly done by Bernie Parent as he made the big save. 7:05 to go in the second period, still no score.
Lee Fogelin getting his first shift on ice along with Gare, and Luce with Martin at the right point, hoping that Luce can get him the puck back. But no, it goes to Jimmy Watson, goes behind the net, dumps it up along the near side. That should do it. 2 seconds, 1 second, and the buzzer goes to end the second period. With the score, the Philadelphia Flyers nothing and the Buffalo Sabres nothing.
To begin the third period, Philly called in the hound, and it took Bob Kelly just 11 seconds to get the job done.
Kelly bumped behind the net by Korab. Kelly has it. Oh, Philly scores! Bob Kelly for Case of Tasty Cake, and the Flyers are on the board. It's 1-0. The hound does it again.
That was the actual cup-winning goal, but Bill Clement made it official with just 2:47 to go.
Parent into a traffic jam, has to get back in a hurry. Korab at the right point as the Sabres gang. Kindrachuk blocks it, and it comes to the near side. Kindrachuk back to Clement, a breakaway. He scores! Bill Clement for a Case of Tasty Cake, and it's 2-0 Flyers.
From then on, it was all over but the shouting.
On the face-off, it goes to the Flyer backboard. Van Impe cross-check from behind. Jimmy Watson trying to get a face-off. Puck is still in play. 3, 2, and the clock stops with 2 seconds to go. Oh, man. Bobby Clarke realizing the Flyers are but 2 seconds away from nailing down their second consecutive Stanley Cup. Face-off, 1. It's all over. The Flyers have won the second in a row. The Flyers have won their second consecutive Stanley Cup. And the whole Flyers bench is off the ice. I'll tell you, they fought from adversity when they had to, and they won the big ones when they had to. And Bernie Parent was big tonight when he had to.
Here's a guy literally that's gone from the bottom to the top in 1 year. A 53-goal scorer, 45 in the regular season, 8. And Reggie, you're here, and I just want you to express your feelings.
Just super to be here, Don. I mean,
the fat guy, I'm Gene. Don's the good-looking one.
Just fantastic to be here on a winner, and I'm just happy. It's the greatest moment of my life.
Bernie, I'm going to make a switch. What has it meant to you having Ed Van Impe in front of you?
Well, you get screened a little bit, but it's all right, though. It's all right. I'll take him anytime, yeah.
And what has it meant to have him behind you?
I'll tell you, when one of their players make you look foolish, it's nice to have Benny back there to bail you out and make you look good.
Ed, I know it's been in your mind for years. So many comments. Well, the Flyers were lucky, the Bostons were down, and I don't think there can be any doubt now. 2 years in a row, and in the Buffalo's building, the best in hockey, and there should be no doubt about it.
I think it proves something to ourselves and I hope to the hockey world, Gene, because we always felt we're a good team, and we felt last year we weren't lucky. And by doing it again this year, 2 years in a row, we feel we proved to ourselves and to the hockey world in general that we are a darn good hockey team.
Mr. Clarence Campbell, the president of the league, how many times have you presented this cup, and what are some of the memories over the years for you?
Well, they are many, and I've had the opportunity of doing this. This is the 29th time, I believe. I've been present on other occasions when it's happened, but I never had the honor. I didn't have the honor of participating at that time, that's all.
Some pretty great teams over the years have won this.
Of course, there have been some fabulous teams that have played, and some very remarkable players. A Stanley Cup is really the history of the game itself, and probably the greatest aspiration that any true professional hockey player could have is to get his name on the cup. There have been lots of very great hockey players didn't make it.
And regardless of what happens down through the years, that name, whoever name it belongs to, is indelible.
No question about it. He is one of the greats of the game. If you get your name on that trophy as a participant in the series, and nobody can get on unless he's played, or at least or be an executive officer. But that's the real test. That's the thing that they pay off on. In addition to that, it's particularly significant this year because it establishes the authenticity of the Flyers' win last year. That's a first, and also it has another great advantage, and that is this is the first time two expansion teams have met in the final.
And of the 4 semifinalists, 4 different generations, as we talked about before, and I think that says a lot for parity.
I think it does. I don't think we have to debate that any longer.